Yo, after a few days away, I'm finally back with a brand new video here on Cryptocito. Today's going to be very general about Cosmos and Cosmos ecosystem projects. Also, I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions that I get from you guys regarding the Atom tokenomics, regarding my osmosis strategy, for example, what I do with my yield farming rewards, and also updates on Emeris, when is it going to ship, is it going to come, all those kind of things, and also ecosystem projects such as Persistence One and their P-Stake product, but also Osmosis and overall IBC activity and Sentinel. So we'll touch upon all these things. And if you want me to cover certain things or specific things in the future, then please comment under this video or drop me a message on Telegram at Cryptocito. Also in this context, please be aware of scammers under these videos. A lot of people always drop these weird messages with WhatsApp numbers or stuff like that. I would never do that. Please be aware that these are scam accounts and don't fall for that, right? I'm never giving trading advice or financial advice or investment advice. And there's also no closed secret group that you can join. We have a public Telegram group called Cryptocito Friends. I'm also very active on Twitter, so please go over and follow me there as well. And that said, also, please make sure that you watch this entire thing. Now, before we get started, big thank you and shout out to whoever manages the Cosmos account on Twitter for giving me the shout out and tagging also my interview partners in the past week, Ethan Buchman, Zaki, also had Federico on my channel. So please give them a follow and also follow the Cosmos main account, because that's where you get firsthand information and updates about products, about ecosystem, about tokenomics, about all those kind of important and juicy things. And before we get into some hot topics like the tokenomics, like ecosystem projects, like my osmosis strategy, let me give you a brief context on what Cosmos actually is about, what IBC is, so that you get a big picture of the whole thing, right? Because I know a lot of you guys are probably new to Cosmos. And also I think most people are not even aware of the different layers that Cosmos has, right? That Cosmos has built over the past couple of years, basically since it started with Tendermint in 2014 or even before that with Jay Kwon, who, by the way, I also want to get here on my channel. Jay, if you're watching this, you're invited. I really would love to interview you here on my channel. So the whole purpose of Cosmos is basically to become the internet of blockchains, right? So the whole problem that they're trying to resolve is that currently all blockchains, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Cardano, Solana, Avalanche, right? They're all isolated from each other and they can't communicate. They're not seamlessly connected to each other, right? Just imagine the world map and then every single country in the world was an isolated island, right? And you can't just walk to the next island, right? There's water in between, there's whatever, crocodiles, you can't go there. It's very complex to get there. But what Cosmos aims to do is to become the TCP/IP standard for the blockchain economy. What TCP/IP does is it basically connects all websites and makes it basically invisible for the end user to provide fast, easy, and simple and secure access to different websites and different internet services. Now, we don't have that in the blockchain economy, right? All blockchains right now are isolated from each other, and that kind of like also isolates the whole value within the blockchain economy, right? So we need something that connects everything and leverages the value, leverages those synergies. And Cosmos is in a prime position to eventually become that, right? It's still a long way to go. We're still incredibly early, but as of my research and as of my perception and understanding of the markets over the past 4.5 years, I see that Cosmos is leaps ahead of the competition, right? Not just because they released IBC, which I'm going to be talk about in a second, but also because they have a fundamental layered approach that they took over the past year. So at the bottom layer, you have Tendermint, which is a BFT consensus algorithm that is running on proof of stake. So it replaces proof of work with proof of stake and gets rid of all the hardware issues of the mining issues and also fixes scalability, at least to a certain degree, right? If you want to learn more about Tendermint and the consensus algorithm, go over and watch my interview with Ethan Buchman, because we talked a lot about his early research results, his findings, and also how they eventually built and modified Tendermint, okay? So that's the bottom layer. The next step is then the Cosmos SDK. which is this developer-friendly environment that anybody can take to build a sovereign blockchain upon, right? So if you think about Cosmos is not just one blockchain, it's the internet of blockchains, right? It's a network of multiple individual sovereign blockchains. And the keyword here is really the word sovereign, right? So sovereignty means that every single blockchain in the Cosmos ecosystem that is built on the Cosmos SDK has its own set of network rules and security layers, right? So for example, you have the Cosmos Hub on which Atom is built, you have Terra with Luna, you have Osmosis with the OSMO coin, you have Regen Network with Regen, you have now Sentinel, which is basically shifting over from Ethereum onto Cosmos with a DVPN token, you have Persistence One with XPRT, there's so many projects, and they're all sovereign blockchains, right? If one other chain would go down, the whole network would not be affected. On Ethereum or Polkadot, for example, if the relay chain on Polkadot or if the main chain on Ethereum would go down, then all the projects that are built upon would have a problem, right? A security issue, a security problem. And I talked extensively about security and also security models and those kind of things with Zeki Manian, who is one of the earliest contributors at Cosmos and very, very deeply and incredibly knowledgeable about the whole thing, and also knowledgeable about how Cosmos resolves things and has a competitive edge, right? So go over and watch that video as well. I learned so much from him. Really, really smart guy. I hope I can bring him on as well in the future more and more so we can learn more from him. But that's kind of like the second thing, right? The third thing is now IBC, right? Which is the inter-blockchain communication protocol that they have built over the past years, and it got shipped in February 18th of 2021. So this date is important because on that date, also several snapshots were taken, like Osmosis, like Juno, right? And they took airdrops, they took this date to give out airdrops to the community members, right? To early cosmonauts, right? That was around the time when I really dig deep into it. So the only thing I had was few Atom because I just started to stack more because I was excited about the project and I learned more. Thanks to Jack Semplin, by the way, who is also core developer and raised my awareness on Cosmos. I didn't have much Atom back then, but and I didn't have them staked, right? So some airdrops I get, some I don't get, but nevertheless, it's great that they released IBC, which is this TCP/IP standard that I talked about earlier, right? Which connects all blockchains. Now, what we need is more and more blockchains, and it can also be new blockchains on Cosmos, obviously. They're natively already integrating IBC, or new blockchains that could now fork in IBC into their code base, right? It does require some adjustments, for example, something big like Solana or Cardano to become a hub on Cosmos and also to integrate IBC, I think is a much more complex process and also requires some technical alignments from both teams, from both sides. But I think it would make a lot of sense as we see more and more projects forking in IBC, right? So far, I think we do have Cosmos, obviously, we have Osmosis, with Regen Network, they just launched. We have Sentinel, they're doing it. They have been one of the earliest. Persistence has already done it. SwiftChain is now coming. A lot of new Cosmos projects are in the pipeline. And I think also somebody is already in talks with Solana. So this would be amazing if something big like Solana would now be forking in IBC or be IBC compatible and then also be tradable on decentralized exchanges, for example, like the Gravity DEX or Osmosis. And I think that's a great transition to the next topic I want to touch upon, and that is Emeris, right? So Emeris is a front-end interface that basically maximizes the utility and maximizes the value for Atom, right? It's a front-end that gives access to a lot of DeFi applications. The first killer application will be the Gravity DEX, the highly, highly anticipated Gravity DEX, which was supposed to be launching in July of this year, right? Last month. Now, on the last day of July, they came out and said, hey guys, we need some more time. Please excuse us. It will be shipped in August, right? And I also had Peng Zhang on my channel here, the CEO at Tendermint, the successor basically of Jay Kwon, if I'm not mistaken. And he told me a lot of cool things about Gravity DEX and Emeris on my interview, which was taken around 3-4 weeks ago, the day Emeris was basically announced. And there are so many cool things that get me very, very excited in the long run. But I understand in the short term, cosmonauts, especially Atom holders, want to see something coming out now, right? We want to see results. We want to be able to farm. We want to also see Atom in action, right? Atom generating IBC traffic. We want to see Atom maybe even implementing something like a fee burn mechanism, right? Like an EIP 1559 like implementation on Cosmos for Atom, right? And I think there are also talks and models or ideas how you could propose something that would burn Atom with every transaction that happens on Gravity DEX, right? Which would make Atom much scarcer, right? Because right now Atom has a dynamic inflation between 7 and 20%, depending on how many market participants are staking, right? So it dynamically adjusts the protocol to incentivize or disincentivize people from staking. And I think that's really cool. I like that model actually, but I think it's time to also rethink this. And I also talked about this with Zakimanian, who gave great insights. And I think this is one of his main priorities for this year and also next year, to maximize the utility, reinvent the tokenomics behind Atom, and just drive a lot of value to it so that Atom itself accrues value, right? Because that's also the main critique for Atom and Cosmos right now, is that, yeah, guys, Cosmos sounds all right, sounds cool, IBC, Cosmos SDK, Tenement, sounds all cool, but why should I buy Atom, right? It doesn't have any value. Well, right now, the main utility for the Atom is that you can stake it, which means you can provide security for the chain, which is the most important thing. And the second one is that you can provide governance input, right? You can vote on governance proposals, which is also super important. Sometimes even makes you eligible for airdrops. So that's also something that projects have done, right? You only get an airdrop if you have voted for a certain governance proposal. But now we need more, right? We need to generate yield with Atom. We need to have a fee burning mechanism. We need to have a different inflation rate, right? A different issuance. So there's a lot of things that go with it. And also shared security is on the roadmap, which basically means something like Polkadot is doing right now, where you have the Cosmos Hub that shares security with smaller projects that want to bootstrap and get to the faster market faster. And they would have to purchase and lock up Atom in order to get access to the security from the Cosmos Hub. So this is something that would drive a lot of value to the Atom coin and makes me incredibly bullish and excited about Cosmos and Atom, because I am a massive Atom holder in the long term, right? So this is really cool. Right now, we are not there yet. Right now, it's only staking and governance, right? And sure, that's not much right now, even though you can also technically provide liquidity with Atom on Osmosis and farm OSMO with it, but we're going to talk about that in a second as well. But yeah, I think this is something that is on the roadmap. It is going to come. And you always have to think about, if you're investing in cryptocurrencies, right? You want to buy before the project is perfect. You want to buy before it is perfect, before there's a massive network effect. You want to front run the masses, right? You don't want to chase the pump. You want to front run the pump. So if I see all this coming together, right? Shared security, EIP 1559 like implementation for Atom. You have Gravity DEX around the corner, or basically it's already forked in, but Emeris around the corner, which drives a lot of value for Atom as well. You have so many things lined up. I take this as like strong reasons to buy Atom, right? For me personally, doesn't mean that you should buy Atom. You're old enough to take your own decisions, and maybe they never ship and it can all go to zero, right? This is always a risk. Crypto is extremely volatile. It's extremely dangerous. Never go all in with your entire life savings. But to me, at least, this is something that I'm very bullish on. And I think it's also something that is not much talked about and very much under the radar. Now, as I talk about what I'm doing, because also a lot of people have asked me that, let's go over to Osmosis. And I'm actually going to show you what I do and also tell you what I'm doing right now. All right, so here we are on the Osmosis website. In my opinion, still one of the best kept secrets in crypto. The farming rewards are incredible, and a lot of people are making a lot of money every single day, right? So that's the front end, osmosis.zone. You click on enter the lab, and boom, you got access to all the cool things and features here. You can see here all the coins that are trading here. Oh, you got Iris as well. I forgot to mention that earlier. CRO, crypto.com, and also IOV, right? That's a new one. So there's a lot of cool things here that you can do in the trading section and trade coins to one another. And remember, all these chains, Atom, Osmo, Regen, IOV, Ion, whatever, they're all sovereign blockchains, right? So actually making cross-chain transactions as you do trades here, right? So that's the revolution here on Osmosis. If you go on pools and see the Osmo price, you can see here also incentivized pools, right? And that's also what I'm doing right now. So I look at this and I see pool number 3, Akash and Osmosis pool has a current pool liquidity of 8.3 million US dollars. Remember, Osmosis is just 1 month, 1.5 months old. So this is brand new, this thing. And what does the unbonding actually mean? Because you get around 80% higher yield if you stake with 14-day unbonding. This simply means that if you click unstake, right, if you want to remove your liquidity, you have 14 days of hard lock where you don't earn rewards and you're not able to move your funds, right? So this is what it means. And if you click on a day bonding, then you get it on the same day or the next day. You get your liquidity removed, right? In case you want to sell, for example, or trade for another coin, it would make sense to carefully think this before choosing which pool you want to choose. So I have the 14 days bonding with AKT and Osmo, pretty heavily loaded there. And yeah, I'm just farming both of them, right? And what I do with my rewards is I simply keep it all in the respective coins, right? So I'm farming a lot of Osmo per day, and I'm also farming Akash. And then what I do with my Osmosis that I hold here on my Kepler wallet, I just stake them. And as you guys know, I also run my own node in collaboration with StakeStone. So we're right now on ranked 46. Cryptocito, we just got crossed 100K in Osmo and delegated to our pool. The commission is at 5%, which is basically what everyone has. These guys, I think they will soon have to increase their commissions because 5% is going to be the minimum. I think they even plan to do a proposal to make 5% minimum so that you don't have these dumping prices, right? Because these guys are running a loss. You have server costs, you have HR costs, you have to pay taxes, you have to pay this and that. So 5% is very common on the lowest end, basically. So that's what we have. And yeah, you can just delegate there as well. Would be highly appreciated. Actually, Osmosis, the team, just awarded us with 30,000 Osmo in delegation. Thanks, guys, for that. Really, really appreciate that. So this is one thing that I'm doing. And another thing that I'm doing, and I encourage everybody to do, is to check the governance proposals, right? And keep voting here. Be active here, right? Be active and read through the proposals. Sometimes it's super important decisions that the community can take, right? We've seen it on Cosmos. Now we're also seeing it more and more on Osmosis. By the way, I'm also running a node here on Cosmos. It's a bit down here, ranked 86, 287,000 Atom, same 5% commission. But yeah, I encourage you to do that. And again, currently my strategy, as I'm farming a lot of Osmo per day, I'm just keeping them in Osmo and delegate them to myself every single day whenever the rewards get distributed, which happens once a day, right? You can see that here if you go back on pools. Here's a timer, reward distribution in 4 hours and 21 minutes. So that's really cool. But there's also a lot of other pools now. And I think the XPRT pool is also going to implement double farming very soon. So we had Tushar Agarwal, the CEO at Persistence, or the company behind Persistence, on my channel as well. And he said that this is something they're also working on and planning to do. A final thing I want to mention here about Osmosis is that, because a lot of people also ask me that, if you want to make a chain swap, for example, if you hold Osmo on the Osmosis chain, it's different than, for example, if you held it on the Cosmos chain, right? Why is that a difference? It's a difference because in case of an airdrop, where they take a snapshot of all the balances on that chain, you might not get considered, right? You might not be considered for that because you hold it on a different chain. So always make sure to keep up to date with all the ecosystem projects on top of those chains, right? We're seeing a lot on Terra. They're also, by the way, in the process right now of implementing IBC, Anchor Protocol, Mirror Protocol on top of it. And there's a lot more that are going to come. You have to make sure once IBC is enabled in Terra that you hold your Luna, for example, on the Terra network and not somewhere else, right? Because otherwise you might not be eligible for potential airdrops. So this is very important. And you can do easy IBC deposits here by clicking deposit or withdraw, right? It's very simple. It's just one transaction. And you can choose like the chain, it automatically recognizes that. So that's very simple. And also, by the way, what I forgot to mention here is that the current staking rewards on Osmosis are 279% APY, which is very competitive. It's decreasing as more people start to stake and delegate and discover Osmosis, but 279% is not bad at all. And also the staking, the liquidity pool rewards are incredibly high as well, right? So you have it in the hundreds. Atom Iris is only at 83%, but you have here at 183, 369 for Reggaeton Osmo. Very high yields. Please be reminded, however, that Osmosis is not audited yet, right? So that's one major downside here, is that the whole platform is not audited yet. It's obviously written by people who also built IBC, right? So these guys know what they're talking about. IBC is audited. Gravity DEX has 2 audits. That's why probably also it takes more time to release it. But yeah, so be aware that Osmosis does not have an official code audit, but the guys who developed it are Cosmos OGs, IBC developers, Cosmos SDK developers. Like, these guys know what they're doing, obviously, but still, it doesn't have a third-party audit. Anyways, moving on here to Map of Zones, the visualization of the Cosmos network, the Internet of Blockchains at the current state, right? And actually, they adjusted this. It looks much cooler right now as it is, with this shape here. You have the major hubs in the outside, Osmosis, AkashNet, also great projects. I also had Greg Osuri, the founder of Akash, on my YouTube channel together with my friends from DeFi Times. Sentinel Hub, just had them on an interview as well. Then you have Crypto.org, Persistence, Cosmos, IOV, and Iris Hub, right? So those are the hubs, and also Region now getting bigger and bigger. And you have all these chains here. Those are all individual blockchains, the zones on Cosmos that are interconnected, right? And you see here the transfers in real time, which is really cool. So that's awesome. By the way, this one here, there's a unicorn. Could be, I don't know, Sommelier or something like that. Because Sommelier is another project that is going to connect Uniswap through the Gravity Bridge with Cosmos. Right? There's a lot of cool things coming. And if we look at the latest stats here, we see Osmosis has 1,600 daily active users. This is in the 24 hours chart. The Cosmos Hub, more than 2,000. Sentinel, 249. Persistence 152. They're growing as well. The Iris Hub as well. They have their exchange as well, CoinSwap, which is gaining more and more traction. You see also the IBC activity, right? How many IBC transfers have been made on a 30-day. The Cosmos Hub has nearly 30,000 active users. Like, this is really cool. And once Emeris goes live, I think this number could easily 3 or 4x easily, in my opinion, right? Because it drives a lot of utility there. And I think that's it for today. I mean, we have covered a lot of things. Sentinel, another Cosmos ecosystem project that I have covered together with the founders and with the CEO. They are doing really cool stuff with their decentralized virtual private network, and they're also going to roll it out on Cosmos, right? The current version that you can find on the App Store is on Ethereum, but the next version is going to be on Cosmos. Oh, and lastly, there's another update from Persistence 1. They just crossed 500,000 in total value locked. 39,000 Atom are now deposited in the P-Stake contract, which then creates a staking derivative that is liquid but earns you rewards and also at the same time secures the Cosmos Hub, right? So STK Atom currently yield 7%, and when the secondary market is established on the Ethereum network for STK Atom, then you can earn additional yield on top of that with your liquid staked Atom, right? So that's really cool. 39,000, I think the threshold was 121,000 Atom or something like that, when the team is actually also pushing hard to provide liquidity on Ethereum, on the Ethereum network for STK Atom and other pairs, right? So that's going to be really interesting to see what's going to come there. I'm closely observing and watching this. And also, by the way, Persistent Ones, they just awarded me with the Champions title. So that's really cool. Thank you so much for that. This was a tutorial I made about how to use P-Stake and how to get familiar with it and all these kind of things. So thank you so much for the award, guys. Really appreciate also your feedback, also from the Cosmos shoutout. You guys really rock. And yeah, if you want me to cover different things in the future, please let me know, comment under this video, or text me a message on Telegram or on Twitter. Keep in touch, stay safe guys, and we'll see you very, very soon.